Hello, Susanna Anderson here, wife of the infamous Pastor Steven Anderson.
She just gave her husband a new nickname. If you don't know who this is Susanna Anderson. She's the mother of 11 or 12 kids now. I'm not sure how many. Isaac Anderson, Miriam, her son John, and her son Solomon made outcries of abuse against themselves, against their own mom from Steven Anderson, their father, and against the remaining children who are still in the home. Pastor Steven Anderson is the pastor of Faithful Word Baptist Church in Tempe, Arizona. And according to the 4 adult children, Isaac, Miriam, John, and Solomon, both of the parents abused every child in the family for their entire lives.
And just making a short video today, I guess there's a new documentary.
She uses those air quotes with great sarcasm, and you can see she's like kind of smiling, like she thinks the whole thing is humorous.
Coming out by Paul Wittenberger. And
I watched The Man of God Part 1. If you haven't watched it, I recommend checking it out. For the background, you can also look on YouTube at all the channels that have interviewed the children. Miriam had to run away from home, basically because she was terrified of her dad's beatings, and this was while she was underage, so it became a huge thing last year. The documentary Part 1 made me cry a lot, and I feel really sorry for this woman because I believe that she is abused. I don't know if her abuse of her children is like because she's abused or if it's part of who she is, but according to her kids, she's just as psychotic as her husband is.
And surprisingly, I mean, since it's talking about my marriage,
it's not really talking about their marriage that much. There are a few sections in the movie that do talk about their marriage, but most of the interviews are about the child abuse
and supposedly the atrocities that I have endured.
Why is she like saying supposedly the atrocities that I've endured, and she's saying nothing about her kids? Like, is she just avoiding the issue of the child abuse? Does she not want to address that at all?
I was surprised that Paul Wittenberger did not reach out to me for
She doesn't sound surprised.
Comment or interview. In fact, none of these people have. Not a single one of these pastors has reached out and said, we need to get Mrs. Anderson's story on this.
Why does she constantly refer to herself as Mrs. Anderson? Like, this has always been so weird. I used to follow their church. Everybody called her Mrs. Anderson all the time. Like, okay, so we get it. You're married to Steven Anderson.
And not only so, but in what little I have heard of their drivel, it does not seem that they have shown any concern for me.
Actually, most of the movies, videos, interviews, they do seem concerned for you a lot of the time, but more so, they're concerned for your children.
The victim of their supposed knowledge of
Why is she smiling?
things going on in my marriage that I was even unaware of.
She wasn't unaware of them.
So my question is, why am I not being interviewed? I mean,
you know, the reason why you weren't interviewed is because you don't want to be interviewed, as you later admit in this video.
I mean, normally when there's terrible things that people are accused of, you know, it'll be like the AP reached out to them for comment and we haven't yet heard back. Why has not anybody of them reached out to me for comment? How do you make a documentary about a victim
through eyewitness testimony,
without interviewing the victim?
Through the words out of the mouths of 2 or 3 witnesses, your children that you raised?
Or trying to interview the victim. Because
they have interviewed 4 of the victims of your husband and you. They haven't interviewed you because you don't want to be interviewed.
That's of course not what it's about. I think it's a slander piece on my husband. And
you think so? I don't think that you think so, because you know what the definition of slander is.
Nobody's actually giving any thought to, you know, the level of truth that might be.
She says nobody's actually giving any thought to the level of truth that might be. So is there a level of truth that it might be, Mrs. Anderson?
In this piece, this hit piece.
It's not a hit piece.
But anyway, just reporting to say I'm perfectly healthy and
I'm super thankful that she's perfectly healthy.
well. I have a wonderful life. I love my husband, and
I know you love your husband. No one's asking you if you love him or not. We're worried about your kids.
have a great marriage together.
No, you don't.
And I will tell you, it just keeps getting better, especially as the
I don't believe you.
kids are getting older and less work, and we get to travel more and do more fun things together. We have a great time with
You don't look very happy, though.
each other, and we've been through a lot together. I think anybody who's been married for 26 years will have the same experience.
Anybody who's been married for 26 years will have what same experience?
But these things have just, if anything, just welded us together more.
So she's saying that they're stuck together?
And I'm really excited for what lies ahead in the future. But
United we stand and divided we fall.
I just want to say, Paul Wittenberger, you are just a piece of trash.
No, I don't think Paul Wittenberger is a piece of trash at all. I think that he's worried about your children, and he's listening to your 4 adult children, and he feels bad for those kids, which it seems that you don't.
And you have zero integrity.
Paul Wittenberger has a lot of integrity. If he didn't have integrity, he wouldn't have made that movie in the first place.
Because if you did, you would have reached out, and you didn't.
Covering up for abuse is not the definition of integrity.
Because you knew I was going to tell you full of it. So
she admits right there that the reason that Paul Wittenberger had not reached out to her prior to her making this video was that she knows he knows she's going to say no, which she does say over in the comments.
So I hope that you reap what you have sown. And
that's not a very Christian attitude.
That's the nicest way I can say it.
She looks very pissed.
And to the rest of you, thank you for loving our family, supporting our family.
Prior to the exposure of what her family was all being forced to endure, most of us who care about this story were watching and supporting Pastor Anderson and his church and her. I used to follow her blog. I thought she was great. But when I found out what really happened, I just felt extreme sympathy and empathy for her children, more so than her. Not only because I do feel sorry for her, but I feel more sorry for her kids. But just anybody that would do this over a period of, 23, 24, 25 years, I'm not sure how old Solomon is now, isn't like a one-time accidental child abuser. If they've done it to all 11 or 12 of their children, and 4 of the adult children are saying so, and just hearing the horrible things that happened in that house, and that she was doing most of them to the kids, and that Steven Anderson was mostly just beating her, and then occasionally beating his kids, but she was like doing bad things to her kids, emotional, psychological, physical abuse, and all kinds of horrible things I don't want to go into on this short video. But she doesn't look like a repentant child abuser. She looks more like a smug, smirking, sarcastic.
And we are excited to be
not excited.
Serving God
not serving God.
Together alongside you all.
She's only excited to be not serving God alongside the people who are just condoning the abuse.
Bye.
So over here in the comments section, you can see that I said, reach out to Paul Wittenberger. I'm certain he wants an interview with you. And this was before I read the rest of the comments. And Susanna says, I'm sure he does in his dreams. I wasn't offering to provide free content for him. I was pointing out the hypocrisy of him never having reached out for my input. And so I'm like, okay, cool. Well, good to know you didn't really mean what you just said. Why didn't he contact me for an interview? And then she says in the video she knows he knows she's not going to do the interview. So I'm just wondering why she posted this. Is it for attention? Is it for clicks? Like, is she lonely? Is she bored? Does she just want to gaslight everyone? I think she just wanted to gaslight everybody, honestly.